Shalom. I want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakodash. Yahweh is the true, holy, and powerful name of the Heavenly Father. Bahasham meaning in the name. Yahweh Shai is the true, holy, and powerful name of his only begotten Son, who is the Savior of the nation of Israel, starting off with the elect within the nation of Israel. And Israel consists of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, as well as your Israelite foreigners scattered abroad that may look like the nations where you've been scattered to, but are Israelites. And I also want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing out this word in all sincerity and in truth. All right, this is the brother you call from the GMS Ranch on Des Moines. Iowa. Well, coming back at you with another lesson inspired by the Holy Spirit. Harakak. All right, and the jig is up. All right, the jig is up, man. Everybody is on to E. All right, everybody's sick of his lies. All right, this whole situation with the, Dr. Fauci, okay. That coming out how, the whole majority of the nation, all right, these Americans were deceived by trusting in the devil, all right, which the prophets were warning you about, never to trust thine enemies, speaking to you Israelites, all right. The rest of these Babylonians, they were through, right, because the scriptures talk about how, they trust in the shadow of Egypt. And what you see happening is that people are confused, all right, and the Lord is really destroying their morale, all right, their hope and their courage, all right, in this place and not knowing what to do. Bringing in a sense of perplexity. And that's why the scripture says in the book of Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. All right. So those that, their mind is on prophecy, they're in tune with the holy scriptures. All right. We already know what was up. Okay. We already knew that this devil was the devil, is the devil. All right. And even though these people are out here complaining and everything like that, they're still going to take the MOTB. All right. After going through this situation with, these people believing in the lies of Esau, Edom, all right, and taking that serpent's venom inside of them that's jacking their ass up, they're still going to take the MOTB, but the conditions are going to be different. Okay, it's going to be a greater, that's why Esau, he's just going to come in, he's just going to have to come in with the fear. All right, he's going to come in with, different, whether it's the T attacks, all right, or coming in with, some type of fear to get the people frantic and just take it, all right? Because they can't just be easily as deceived, all right, to just, just take it, it's for your health and for your benefit. No, it's going to have to be real fear, all right, surrounding, all right, the implementation of this MOTB, real distress on a whole another level to get these people to fold and take it because of the distress or because of the distrust that they have in the government, man. For a mass majority, there is going to be an uprising against this when they push out that MOTB spoken about in Revelation 13 and 16. All right, people fighting up against it. But I just want to use this clip to highlight the distrust that people are having within the government. All right, and how the Lord is making this devil bear. All right, he's really taken away, at one point. Let's read this real quick. All right, before I get to going on a spiritual rant. All right, but at one point, Esau was looked at as, this benevolent creature that just is so loving and caring and so on and so forth. All right. All right. And now he's being looked at as the devil. Now he's not being distrusted. Now he's not being trusted. Now he's losing his respect throughout the earth. And we see it on the main stage because of what's happening with this war. All right. People that are more so in the know, they're seeing that every time they come to try and make an agreement. All right. This devil, ruins it. All right. He lies. OK, he's lying to the American people on a daily basis. He's tacoing out, it's just instability. All right, people are actually seeing Esau Edom for who he's been this whole time. All right, they're pointing the finger at Dr. Fauci. All right, but this is how the nation of Edom gets down as a whole. They're putting the heat on him, but all these people were in on it, man. All right, these doctors, they were in on it for the money, getting different incentives to get the people to take the juice, lying about the numbers. All right. All these devils were a part of it and benefiting off of it, man. All right, to one degree or the next, when you go down the hierarchy. All right. So they all been in on it. They all crying and acting like they are in an uproar, at the hearing and everything like that with this devil. But they're the devil as well. They're in on it. OK, and they're all in the background, messing with children. All right. Like they talked about and showing you in the EP files. All right. The Edomite files, So this devil is being exposed for who he is, the devil, man. But this is the book of Isaiah 32 and verse and 5. It says, the vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful, right? In the NLT, it says, in that day, ungodly fools will not be heroes, right? So he's prostrated himself throughout the earth as an image of being a hero, helpful, benevolent. All right. He's going to help out these people here. And, you know, he actually cares about the, you know, children in Africa and these children here. And he wants to give them free health care and, you know, give them free juices. Going back to the Gates of Hell Foundation, going throughout all the earth. All right. Juicing all these people, destroying lives, destroying families. All right. This devil doesn't care. All right. He knows what he's doing. Okay. And it don't stop with the juice. What about the stuff that's being put in your food? Okay. That ain't got nothing to do with your boy Dr. Fauci. All right. So they got this nigga on trial. But what about the ones that are involved in putting the poisons in your food, man? All right. Or what about who's allowing the chemtrails to be sprayed in your air? Okay. Or this whole wicked system, man. All right. You know, there's so many different aspects, man. They're in an uproar about this, but there's so much more to be in an uproar about. And see, in the hypocrisy about it is that nigga really should have just got dragged out of the hearing, all right, and got dealt with. That's what they did to Jake off of false accusations, man. You know, hey, they lie on Jake, talk about that he did this to a certain, you know, he get say that he ravished a so-called Edomite, so-called white woman. Okay, they don't even have a hearing for him. They just go and hang this nigga. All right. This devil is on record of destroying all types of lives, killing so many individuals because of his counsel. All right. And everybody that was in on it. But they just got this nigga. He could just plead the fifth and walk out of there, all right, without a scratch on him, man. But they was hanging Jake for false accusations. Okay. Dragging him out of the court. All right. Destroying their families, you know, doing all types of manner to Jake. But then this devil gets on the stand. All right. And he could just plead the fifth. All right, and walk out of there scot-free, right? Hypocrites, man. Okay, but anyways, it says, in that day, ungodly fools will not be heroes. Scoundrels will not be respected. So this devil is losing his respect throughout the earth, man. Okay, you know, this devil is losing the respect of that Edomite supremacy, you know, that he had of being looked at in a certain light is being stripped away from him, man. And this is all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So let's go ahead and play this clip here. So this is from Yak Motley. Americans can feel it coming, and they've stopped trusting everything, man. All right, let's go ahead and play it.
I believe nothing at this point. I believe nothing. I have no idea what is true. I've stated my opinion specifically on what is going on right now with the war in Iran. I believe that we're doing the right thing, but I don't know. And anybody that says they do, I don't know where you get your information, because it's all hearsay.
I reflect with what he's saying right here, because you don't know what source is true to even base your thesis on. Like, okay, you got CNN saying this, you got Fox saying this, you got CNBC saying that, and you're like, how can you all be saying different things about a statement of facts?
And that's why we don't have to get all, you know, we speak on things and report on different matters that are in regards to prophecy, but it all comes down to prophecy, man. All right, so these people are getting tossed to and fro, all right, because of believing in the government, believing in the news and everything like that. They don't know what to believe in and what not to. All right, well, the scripture says in the book of 2 Ezra, the 15th chapter. All right, let me go ahead and read this. 2 Ezra 15:1. All we're doing is sticking to prophecy, man. It says there's many devices in a man's heart, but the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. So that's what's true. All right, we know what's going to happen. We know what's going to come to pass, man. All right, you know, we believe in what's written. Okay. And that's why those that are in the know, they ain't getting fooled and, you know, all distraught and all confused and what's going on or what are we going to do? Do we believe in the government and who are we supposed to follow, man? Is this true? Is this not? All right. What's written is what's true. Prophecy is going to come to pass. All right. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15:1. Behold, speak down the ears of my people the words of prophecy. All right. And the true prophets of Yahweh Shai have the spirit of prophecy upon them. So we're going to speak to you these prophecies. This is what's going to happen. Well, what's going on with Iran? And do we believe it? Are we doing? Look, what's going to happen is this is going to lead into America being destroyed via nuclear missiles. This is the groundwork for this World War III. All these other nations are getting dragged into it, regardless of anybody's political opinion or different decisions that are made on the way, or whether they talk about ceasefire, opening up the Strait of Hormuz or not. It don't matter. It's going to lead to nuclear destruction upon America, Babylon the Great. And your only answer to escape, if you're an Israelite, all right, even though our people are scattered throughout all these other nations, look like other nations, right? Your only way to escape is to believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and follow the proper doctrine which leads to salvation. There ain't no other way out, and that's all you need to know. All right, you ain't got to get confused on this and that and the third. The prophets are giving you the counsel. The prophets told you not to take the juice. All right, you know, the prophets told you don't give a damn what they talking about at your job. The Lord will provide you with another one. Show your faith. All right, you'll be all right. You know, the Lord will uphold those that, you know, trust in him. Right, stand on what's written. Believe in him. All right, so if you would have took heed to the counsel of the prophets, certain people would still be alive. All right, because a lot of people got deleted. All right, a lot of families were broken up over this over this madness. You know what I'm saying? Right? But like the scripture says in the book of, I believe it's written in the Old Testament. It's either in Kings or Chronicles. But Jehoshaphat, he was exhorting the people. He said, look, believe ye the prophets and ye shall have good success. All right? Plain and simple, man. Listen to the Lord's counselors. Listen to his messengers that he sent to guide you on the way of salvation, and you will be all right, man. It says, 2 Ezra 15:1, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Right. So these words, these prophecies, they're faithful and true. It says how the words of the Lord have been tried like 7 times in the furnace, roughly paraphrased, and purified. Right. So all you need is to follow these scriptures, following the counsel, the true teachers, the true prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, that are delivering this truth unto you, man.
And then I realize it's all opinion, it's all info, entertainment, and I see in his face, he's trying to make a proper analysis. But the facts that he's using it to are not really facts, they're like loose crumbs that fall through your fingers. And you're like, oh, well, I support that. And then you realize, like, 2 years later, like, oh, man, like, I went off some bad facts.
Does anyone else in America feel like you're waking up every single day to realizing that your entire life has been a complete scam?
Yeah, I saw a statistic the other day that the Encyclopedia Britannica, you know, the ones we use to do all our reports in, like, middle school, that, like, 30 or 40% of it is not true. It's no longer true. It's proven to be false.
Yeah, so now it's coming out all the history that this devil's been, you know, indoctrinating the people with. Those things are being quenched, right? Like it says in the book of 2 Ezra. Let me read that real quick. 2 Ezra chapter 6. And this is showing you that we're at the end, man. All right, the Lord is finna wrap this devil up. All right, he's humiliating him. All right, he's taking away his glory that he's had. Okay. It says shameful spewing shall be on his glory. He's being looked at for who he's been the whole time. The devil, and that covering that's been cast over all the people is being uplifted, man. This is 2 Ezra chapter 6 in verse 27, straight to the point. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched, right? The lies. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which had been so long without fruit shall be declared. And that's what's happening, man. All right. The truth is being declared. Okay. And this devil, he can't, you know, he can't control the narrative as he has been in the past, man. All right. He was able to just go out and lie about some stuff and it wasn't being checked. Oh, well, Esau said it, so it must be true. Oh, what the science says it? Well, it must be true. Hey, they're scientists, man. They got degrees. What do you mean? All right. They got degrees. You don't have a degree. You don't know nothing. All right. Well, now people are looking at this devil like it don't matter if he got degrees. All right. It don't matter about the science. All right. We ain't believing in none of this nigga. But the scriptures been put us on game. Never trust thine enemy. All right. And the true men of the Lord have been telling you who the enemy is, man. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. We were delivered into the hands of our enemies. All right. Like it talks about in the book of Isaiah, the 47th chapter. In the curses, man. This devil is the enemy. All right. And your trust in this devil is going to be to your shame, like it says in the book of Isaiah, the 30th chapter. Right.
We learned all that stuff, and it's not even real. Most history that we're told in high school, complete bullcrap. Went down a lot of rabbit holes when I deployed to the Middle East and you know, in the last 2 or 3 years. And most of the things I was told when I was in high school, complete bullcrap.
Anybody that knows me personally knows that I'm a big conspiracy theorist, right? And at this point, you might as well not call it conspiracies. I just don't believe anything in mainstream media. I don't believe anything involving these celebrities. I don't believe when they get married. I don't believe when they break up. I don't even believe when they have kids. Politics, I don't believe there is a such thing as Republican or Democrat. I believe they're all playing for the same team. And at the end of the day, no matter who you vote for, there's a certain group of people that's constantly going to get screwed over. And I believe both parties have separate agendas, but those separate agendas just work in tandem with one agenda with the people at the top. If you know, you know. Don't even go off what I'm saying. Start doing your own research. But I think we've been lulled to sleep with entertainment and numbing mechanisms and social media. And yeah, social media is a great tool, but boy, is it a distraction. And it can be a tool that's used to be divisive, right? So
what he's talking about is choice architecture. It's when they gave you two choices thinking you have choice. Both choices get the same outcome. So us, voters, think we're voting for the left or we're voting for the right. Well, they chose the candidate for the left or for the right.
Right. And once again, the prophets have always, starting off with our elders and apostles, man, they've been telling Jake, look, stop voting. It's even in the law, you ain't supposed to set another king over you that's not of your own people. So you sitting here voting, which voting really goes into a vow. All right. You're putting your energy into it. You know what I'm saying? But the prophets told you, man, don't get caught up in these politics and voting. Stick to prophecy. What's going to happen? They don't give a damn who's in office. Prophecy is going to come to pass. What's written is what's going to happen. All right. But Jake all caught up in voting, man, our ancestors died to vote. Man, you know what? They put their life down to vote, man. Bringing up all that. Like, look, all right. Now look at Jake. Jake was, they was all into Kamala, that demon. All right. Niggas voted for Barack Obama. Then what happened, man? Niggas just wrists start getting limp. All right. Niggas start wearing tutus. All right. Destroyed our people, destroyed our nation. Pushing out that alphabetism amongst Jake on a whole another level, man. But niggas voted for him, man. He black. Hey, man, you got to vote, man. Deceived. All right. But this devil, he's established all of this shit on lies. All right. And now the truth is coming out and it's consuming these lies, starting off with the message of the prophets out there on the highways and byways, man. Now this nigga is being looked at sideways, man. All right. No matter what this nigga say, now he getting questioned. Now he being looked at. Like now he can't just come out and say, yeah, this is what it is no more. All right. That's all through the spirit and power Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And it's all culminating to the atmosphere of civil unrest. Okay. And to a greater resistance when this devil comes down with certain legislations. That's why he's going to have to come with more tyrannical laws, man. All right. Like the scriptures talk about in the book of Revelation, man. It says that he spake as a dragon. All right. Going back into what? Draconian laws, strict measures, man. Because these people ain't going to just easily go into this NWO system. Jake, I'm talking about all of these people, these Egyptians, man. They're fighting against these data centers, right? And then you got Jake that's supposed to know these prophecies and they still out there marching when the nigga gets shot. All right. You got people that, fighting against the data centers. That's a part of prophecy, man. Okay. Those data centers are going to be erected for what? For the MOTB. It all coincides, man. But you got Jake fighting against prophecy, and all this madness, man. All right. Look, listen to the prophets, man. All right. And you will have good success. Listen to the men that are showing the way of salvation, man. Don't get caught up in these politics. Don't get caught up in this going on and that going on, man. Get your spirit right, all right? To be accepted by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Because when this shit goes down, you're going to want to be close to the Lord, man. All right? You want to be as close to the Lord as possible, man. All right? You don't want to be out there all confused. And what are we supposed to do, man? The government's telling us to do this and telling us to do that. And, niggas finna be out here perplexed. All right, because you didn't rely on Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You didn't trust in his counsel. Let's continue on.
Both of them have the same outcome for those that put the choices out there. Like, hey, y'all, choose. And you don't realize you're doing it to yourself.
Yep, like I heard another elder mention some years back that stuck with me. You got the left wing, and you got the right wing, and it's the same bird moving you in the same direction. So it's the illusion of choice. All right, make Jake think that, your vote matters, that you got to say so on politics. You know what I'm saying? And all this madness, man. All right. None of that shit mattered, man. And people are realizing this, See, at one point you had the left wing or the right wing that was supposed to be against, the big companies and the big tech and, and all this and that and the third. But then your boy Nero gets in office. All right. Who's supposed to be against it, right? And as soon as that nigga stepped on the podium, man, he had all the big tech companies with him. He's setting up all these data centers. So they were going in one direction, one way or another. All right. It's all been a part of the agenda. But the people, the masses have been fooled and some are waking up to it and they're angry, man. You got people that are genuinely upset that they took the juice. All right. That are in regret. that they broke up their families over this madness. You know, I was listening to one dude, man, and he was talking about how, you know, his mother or his father was on her deathbed. All right, and the nigga couldn't even go to the office with couldn't even go into the hospital without getting the juice. And his family, all right, when they took her home, okay, his family, they wouldn't even let him visit the crib, all right, while she was finna die because the nigga wasn't juiced. You know, that really broke up families, man. Okay, and the devil is up there, and he's just pleading the fifth, and he don't give no damn. All right, that nigga Dr. Frachi, all right, he's finna hop on a plane, all right, you know, and he's finna go do what they do on EP Island and not give a damn, okay, with the rest of the weirdos with him, man. These niggas do not care. This is the real nigga, all right? He's destroyed all these lives. They talk about Jake killing his own people. How many lives is he responsible for? All right? They went into this man's diary, all right? You know, all right, where he's going and professing, you know, talking about the pretty much the lies behind the juice. Then he'll get on national television and say that it's safe the very next day. All right. It was one account where they were talking about how he was having some dialogue between him and another doctor, how the reports or the tests were coming out about the negative effects that it was having on a pregnant woman and infants, right? And then they had the date on the dialogue of that, and then they showed a I guess he was on CNN the next day where he literally said that, yeah, we have no red flags that this is having any negative effects on pregnant women. Or the very next day, these niggas do not care about lying. All right. They don't have some type of honor to them. This is Esau. We're dealing with the Edomite now. All right. This is the worst of the heathen, the lowest of the low. He don't care about lying. He don't care about stealing. He don't care about none of that. This is the real nigga. All right. This is where black culture comes from. Edomite culture. All right. Rob, steal, kill, and not give a damn and boast about it, man. Okay. Anyways.
So in our face with the last election, you got a candidate that was primaried, Democrat, right before he was the president of the United States. All of a sudden, he swapped out. Now, did the Democrats get the vote on that in the primary? No. They threw a candidate out there. And the Republicans, well, we didn't really get to choose that either. They say this is the Republican candidate. So you have two choices. What do? Not vote? That's how they do it. And they tell you, well, you chose, you voted. It's crazy, isn't it?
I think by now, most of us understand that this is true. That we have been lied to since childhood about literally everything. Like everything that we thought was true, everything we were taught in school, everything we learned growing up, and everything we hear on the news, everything that people believe to be true is just not true. It's all a lie.
Yep. Everybody's noticing. I'm finally seeing people wake up. And that's what I've been trying to do for the last 2 or 3 years on this channel, is just put things out there. Because I'm just like a dude sitting in a chair being like, that doesn't add up. That's weird. That doesn't make sense. That's not true. So I just started putting it in a video.
All right, let me.
And once again, they talking all this, oh, we've been lied to, man. I'll never trust the government. And these niggas gonna get C-hipped. All right? You know? They're gonna fall for it again. Now, once again, man, he's gonna come with some shit like, all right, we just gonna have to scare the hell out of these niggas. You know what I'm saying? They ain't just believing the lies. This ain't gonna be as easy as it was when the C-19, they're on to us. All right, he's gonna scare people. Okay? You know? When you threaten the nigga that he can't eat, he gonna take that C-hip, man. All right? Yeah, there's gonna be resistance, you know, to a degree. All right, but these people, after going through all of that, they're gonna find themselves having no choice but to take that C-hip. And they're gonna get their ass baked in the lake of fire, man. Via the prophecy for those here in America, man. All right? So, you know, they talking all of this, man, but that pressure's gonna hit and they're gonna fold with it.
Say this clearly. What's happening right now isn't about one video, one scandal, or one state. It's about why people don't trust anything anymore. Because every single time that something gets exposed, and I don't care if it's daycare funding, disaster relief, COVID money, corporate bailouts, or political favors, the reaction is always the same. First, people notice something doesn't add up. The math doesn't math. The story doesn't line up. Then they ask questions. And instead of answers, they get told to calm down. They get told that they're misinformed. They get told that they're being divisive for even asking. That's when truth dies. Not because people are stupid, but because they're being talked to like they are. What pisses people off isn't that fraud exists. What pisses people off is watching billions disappear watching nobody get held accountable and then being told that they're the problem for noticing.
Yeah, it was so in our face with most of these scams that have came out. It will hit the media, and then the media will gaslight us for us saying that doesn't look right. But we're told we're supposed to just be quiet, or we're ignorant or something, and we're like, no, like there's documents and there's this, and people were arrested for this, and then they will gaslight us, and then the politicians will get on there and point fingers like those social media YouTubers, those non-journalists, those this, those that, and it's like, wait a minute, this is a statement of fact, like.
Right, and I was listening to the elder in Kansas City, Mahaloya. You know, he had made the statement, which is, you know, I agree with it, man. You know, that whole term of being a conspiracy theorist. See, at one point that had weight, but now it's not even, you know, that's not even a pretty much like a negative. It doesn't have the same connotation anymore because all the conspiracies are being shown to be true. And Esau Edom is coming out telling you these different things, man. The information is out there, you know. So at one point, these conspiracy theorists that were being looked at as crazy, but now everything is coming out that is true, you know. So once again, man, hey, this devil, his lies are being consumed, and he's just gonna have to stick to his old nature, man. Just come down with the sword. Yeah, all right, nigga, I'm a liar. Now, well, what are you gonna do about it, nigga? What you gonna do against this sword? You know, what you gonna do against this tyranny? Yeah, I'm coming down with it. All right. This nigga's like, all right, I lied. So what? Now, what you gonna do against this sword? That's the energy this devil's coming down with, man. All right, you know, these lies ain't working. You know.
There's a document, there's a picture of the guy, he did this, and they will literally gaslight us until we just quit. And every time we just quit. Finally, in the last couple of years, we realized that when they do expose the documents, and all those things are unclassified, that they got lines to it all the way down it. And you're like, well, who are you protecting in all this? Or the E-files, you know those guys? You know, the E and P, you know, in the Stein files? You can literally see where they line through people's names to protect the people that were doing bad things. And we all know it's the people in power. But yet, what do? That's what really hurts us, especially us vets. We went to these wars, we were young, they told us that we needed to do these things for our country and realized it was all bullcrap. Did the same thing in Vietnam, Desert Storm, Afghanistan, that was a mess. Iraq, that was a mess. And look what, our entire youth was burned up in that desert. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
I think one of the scariest parts about life today is that I don't believe anything anyone says anymore. And it's not necessarily just people I know personally, it's also the mainstream media, it's also any articles I read online, it's also any video I see on TikTok or YouTube. I don't believe a word anyone says anymore. I have to do oodles of research to decide if anything that someone said is true. And it's really difficult to live a life in which you have no trust for any of the information that's coming at you. And everyone knows it's created an environment where people come up with any theory they want and just subscribe to that. And I do not blame them for doing that because there is nowhere to be sure you're getting the right information. The mainstream media f***ed us by being liars. We trusted them to give us the information we needed to make decisions, and they lied to us repeatedly. And they've left us in this post-truth world where no one knows what the f*** is going on at any given time, and it's a scary place.
You know, an old saying is that when smart people stop talking, ignorance takes a hold.
All right, so that's all I'm gonna play in that, you know. So you see that, you know, that veil. Let's go ahead and read that real quick. All right, Isaiah 25. The veil's being lifted, man, and this is all through the Spirit of the Lord. And it starts off with this knowledge, as this is going to show. Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 6. And in this mountain shall the Lord of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things, a feast of wines on the lees, of fat things full of marrow, of wines on the lees well refined. Right. So this is speaking about this truth. You can read about that in the book of Proverbs. It says, wisdom hath killed her beast, she hath mingled her wine. Right. So this is a feast of wisdom. All right. And it starts here, what? In this mountain here in Babylon, America, man. It says, this is where this truth sprung out of, man. Verse 7, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations. And you see that happening, man. That veil that's been put over the masses, that Esau is just this benevolent, loving, caring, all right, creature who's just the best for humanity. All right. You know, now he's being identified. He's the one that's poisoning your food. He's the one that's destroying you. He's the one that's snatching up children throughout the earth. All right. You know, he's poisoning it, putting it in all the juices that he's made mandatory since you were a child. You know, all types of madness, man. He's being, all this is coming out on him, man. It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations. And now this devil, all right, is being, like it says here in the book of Obadiah. We'll just end it off with this. All right, this is Obadiah. Come on now. All right, Obadiah. I got a new phone, man. I had to deal with so much hell trying to get this phone, and I can't even download no apps yet. It's just some madness, man. But this is Obadiah, verse 2. It says, behold, I made these small. I'll start at verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom. All right, Edom, you so-called white people, man. They're the biblical Edomites, all right? It says, we have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised, right? So this devil is being greatly despised throughout the earth, all right? You can see it with Trump on the world stage being greatly despised, right? Okay, even to, you know, when things like this is happening, all right, the Fauci case and everything like that, all this is being exposed. He's becoming more and more despised and hated throughout the earth, man. All right. It says, I want to look up this word despise. It says, disdain, all right, contemned, think to scorn, a vile person, all right, despicable, worthless, you know. It says, and he's worthy of all the hatred. All right. What he's done throughout the earth. Okay. For centuries at that, you know, people were looking at George Washington and the founding fathers. They were all looking at them as, oh man, these were great people, man, and everything like that. Now the history's coming out on how these different individuals were scoundrels. All right. The mistreatment they had upon their slaves. You know what I'm saying? The type of wicked practices that they were involved in. You know, you talking about, people was talking about these EP files, and like these devils were into this since the foundation of America. This is the nature of the devil. All right. You go back into the Roman Empire. What were they doing? Having little boys as play toys. You know what I'm saying? This isn't nothing new. All right. This isn't new Edomite behavior. No, this is the nature of the devil. Okay. He's not doing anything that he hasn't been doing for centuries. Now it's just being exposed. All right. Put out in the open. His hidden things are being sought up, as it's going to say in that Obadiah, man. All right. He's making Esau bare. So this isn't new nature. All right. This isn't a new epidemic of wickedness. All right. You know, that this devil is just all of a sudden finally doing. All right. And now he needs to be, you know, put a stop to him. No, he's been getting down like this, man. It says contemned. All right, just wanted to read, you know, what that phrase was, or what that word was. All right, so going back, behold, I make thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right, so he's moved in so much pride that he thought he could do all of this wickedness and madness and nothing was going to happen to him. He didn't consider the latter end. All right, he thought he could just lie to the masses for, you know, for centuries, and then nothing was going to happen. And, you know, and now the social media, everybody's got cameras. Okay. Now he doesn't control the narrative as he used to before. So now all these things are being exposed, and it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? So these different things, they were hidden at one point. All right. You know, at one point, it wasn't known that this devil was defiling the food the way that he was. All right. At one point, it was hidden. You know, they literally went into, you know, the different accounts, all right, of these different scientists, how they took the man, it's just vile. All right. The scalps of aborted, you know, 5-month-old, you know, deleted, aborted, you know, I don't even know if I could say the word without getting strike. All right. You know, but they took those, you know, those beings out of the womb, took the scalps of them. All right. And put them on rats. It was just like, nigga, what are you doing? Okay. But these were things that were hidden at one point. Now it's being brought out in the forefront on trial. At this date, on this time, all right, your scientists under your jurisdiction did this, that, and the third. All right, took the baby fetus, you know, and attached it to the rat, you know, and then called it a BLT. Like, what type of wickedness at one point he was getting away with just doing this, and it was they were so proud in doing it that they joked about it, but now it's being brought out to the forefront. All right, this devil is losing his respect throughout the earth. All right, the vile person shall no more be called liberal. All right, the scoundrel is no more being called bountiful. This nigga is not the hero. This nigga is not benevolent. No, this nigga is the devil. All right, it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Right. So, you know, pretty much, man, the whole world is turning against this devil. All right. Even to the point to where Satan is casting out Satan. All right. And we already know what the scripture says. When Satan casts out Satan, his kingdom shall not stand, man. Okay. You got Esau mad at Esau. Starting off with the little hats, man. Okay. And this was, see, when we began to fall as a nation, all right, you know, hey, there was a division amongst our people, man. Okay. After King Solomon, you know, the kingdom split, and it was just a downfall from there. So now you're seeing the division amongst Esau, Edom. All right. You know, everybody's hating the little hats. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is just breaking this devil down, and it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful to see these people upset at their rulers. Okay, seeing how low life, how despicable they are. All right, and it being put out on the main stage, man. Okay, this devil's gonna have the worst reputation. All right, before he goes into captivity, man. Okay, you know, these devils are going to be in captivity, in chains together, hating one another, man. All right, just like Jake had hatred amongst one another. You know, you already see it, man. But, you know, that's really it, man. There's more precepts we can go into through the spirit. You know, inquisition is being made into the counsels of the ungodly. You know, this devil's being made bare on so many different levels, man. But I just wanted to pull that out, man, that he's losing his respect throughout all the earth, man. And this is all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And it's a beautiful thing to see the downfall of our enemies, man. All right. This devil's time is up, man. He's got seconds left of his kingdom before this nigga's taken out of power completely, man. All right, so I'm going to end it right there through the spirit. Lord's what I was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing out this word in all sincerity and in truth. With that, I'm going to say shalom.